In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create additional activities without the help of Android Studio. So the way we do this is we are going to go over to our Java folder, and then we're going to expand our package name, and we're just going to right click, click New, and then finally Java class. And before I click on Java class, I just want to note that you can also do File, New, File, New, and then Java class, right? Either way works. Just make sure that you have this package folder selected. So File, New, Java class, and then we're going to type in the name of our activity that we want. So I'll say, additional activity, right? And usually we capitalize the first letter here when creating new activities. So additional activity, okay, right? And now from here, you'll notice we just have a new Java class. So to create a new activity, the first thing we want to do is we want to extend the app-compat activity, right? And there's a few different activities that we can extend from. We can extend from fragment activity, app-compat activity, action bar activity, right? There's a few different types. It depends on what your needs are for this activity. I would say, app-compat activity is probably a good rule of thumb. App-compat or fragment activity. So we're going to do app-compat activity. From there, we are going to create our onCreate callback or method, right? So we're going to say @override, and then we're going to do protected, void onCreate bundle saved instance state, right? And now it'll ask us in Android Studio, do we want to import the package if something's missing? So it's pretty much saying, hey, I don't know what bundle is, press Alt-Enter to import it. And so that's actually what I'm going to do if it gives me that option again. So Alt-Enter, you notice that now it says imported Android OS bundle. Great, so from there, we are going to expand these brackets. And now I have to make sure that I call the superclass of onCreate. So I'll say super.onCreate, and then I'm going to pass in my bundle. So saved instance state. And now, believe it or not, we have just created a new activity. There's one thing, though, that most activities want to do within the first few lines that we talked about in our previous videos, and that's we want to actually set the view for this activity. Unfortunately, because we created this activity manually, we don't actually have a automatically created layout for ourselves. So we need to do that now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our resources folder. We're going to right click this layout folder. Actually, we'll expand it and then right click it. We'll go to new, and then we learned how to create new layout files, right? We just go to XML and then layout XML file. And I'm going to say additional, sticking to the naming conventions, additional activity, right? Or we could say, activity main, additional. You'll notice that it kind of does it reverse. So this is main activity. It did activity underscore main. So if I did additional underscore activity, that would kind of stick with the naming conventions we have. So I'll leave the root tag as a linear layout. I will click finish. You'll notice that my additional activity XML is now created. So now I actually have to set it as my view for it. So I'll say set content view here. Set content view r.layout.additional activity. So now we really have our activity all set up here. So one thing we want to ensure is that our package here is the same as everything else, or the same as our activity package, which in my case is correct, com.thomasbrown.helloandroid. The last thing we want to do that you guys maybe have forgotten is that we want to add this activity to our manifest. So we're going to go to our manifest here. We're going to open that up. And now we are going to make sure that it's between our application tags. I'm just going to put it right below our other activity here. So I'm going to press enter. I'll say activity. You'll notice it auto fills out that Android name for me, which we're going to need. And then I'm just going to press enter. It says, add the .additional activity. And there it is, right? It adds that for me. So let me just make sure that I don't have anything else here. So XML tag has empty body. That's perfectly fine here. We don't have anything else to declare inside this. So that's actually going to do it for adding our additional activity manually. You could see why using that wizard from Android Studio is a lot easier and quick. So the reason I wanted to show you guys this adding of activities manually is because if you run into a problem, using that wizard, if there's, some sort of weird thing going on, you actually know what could have happened, right? Such as, not adding something to the manifest, or maybe, we don't have this onCreate method. Bottom line, it's nice to walk people through, the manual process so they actually understand what Android is doing automatically for you. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. We have successfully added an activity manually in Android Studio. I'll see you in the next video.